Hello everyone and welcome back to the video series for Microsoft Azure for beginners. In the last lecture we have seen all the details that we need to understand about the Azure storage account. Now in today's lecture we are going to explore what is a virtual machine and how we can access that. So let's begin with the practical. Before directly moving to the practical, let us first understand what is a virtual machine and how to use it, right? So virtual machine actually is a logical division of your computing resources or computing capacity. What that means is the memory, the CPU, the hard drive or the network that you are having in your physical computer will be divided into separate chunks to work on the function that you are providing or to work on the task that you have given. So let us understand more deep about it. If you want to understand what is a virtual machine, let us understand this architecture first. We need these three types of servers to be launched into the same physical machine, and that physical machine's hardwares will be responsible to cater or to all of these three machines. So this is how the sharing happens between the physical resources with the virtual resources that are being created in the physical machine. So this is called as virtual machines. So now let us understand what we can do in the practical session. We are going to create a virtual machine in Azure environment. That means that virtual machine would not be utilizing any of our physical resources, but they will be utilizing the resources in the Microsoft Azure's data center. Let me create one virtual machine and show you the demo how to do that. If you go at the home page, you will find a virtual machine tab directly, or else you can go to the menu and there you can find out the virtual machine. Alright, here it is. So I clicked on it, so the virtual machine page will be opened. So in this page we have to click on this add button. So in this add button you can click on a virtual machine to be created. Now you will see the first basic input page where you have to provide some input. First is the resource group. So if you already have a resource group created and you want to select that, you can select it from the drop down, or else if you don't have any, you can create it from here as we did in the storage account section. So I will just select the existing resource group for now, and then I'll have to name this virtual machine as per my convenience. Let's say I'm going to use this virtual machine for my organization to handle some HR department work. So let me give it a name as HRVM01. Let's say this is the first virtual machine that I'm going to create for HR management team. Okay, I can even keep a dash in between so that we can easily recognize what is the naming convention. So I'm going to give HR-VM01. okay. Now a region I have to select. It will by default take the region of a resource group. I don't mind to keep the same, or else I can even change it from here. Now I'll go down, and then there comes the availability option. If you want availability option, you can select it from here. One is availability set and one is availability zone. So this topic I will touch base in the next session, but let us understand you can select it from here. Now let us understand what all images do we get here. So here they have provided us few options as a by default, which are being most utilized by the people. So there is a Red Hat Enterprise, Ubuntu, CentOS, then other options, and then Windows Server 2019, 16 and 12 R2. So for now, for the demo purpose, I'll use 2016, and as I use that, I will have to select Azure Spot Instance. Is it a Spot Instance? If the Spot Instance I will select, it will offer a discounted rate because it will save your cost, but this is only meant for the test purposes. If you are using this for production, this is not a valid option to use. I haven't shown you the more images that are available. Actually, even if you don't want any image from this particular list, you can even browse a public or private images that you have. So these are all the types of images that you can opt for, which are already there in the marketplace. And let's say I want a SQL server, so I'll just search as SQL server and it will give me the versions and options. This is how you can select any of these services that are available in marketplace. And now I will jump into the size. So here you can select the from the drop down which size you want. If you are not satisfied with these sizes that is provided by default, you can see all sizes. Once you click that, you can see huge and massive amount of sizes that are available by Microsoft Azure. See, if you go for this category, ideally for the workloads that do not need continuous full CPU performance. So this is how this category B series is being classified, and D series is being classified as per the size recommendation, and so on and so forth. So you can opt for the whatever size you want or your business need recommends. So this is how you can select the size for it. So I have selected B2MS. Then I will have to use my username admin. It will not allow me, of course, because it is a reserved word, so you cannot use admin. There is a reserved list that you cannot use as a username. So let me type something else, that is jadmin. So this username can be can be used for my virtual machine. Now I will type the password. So it needs at least 12 digit of password, that's mandatory. So now as my password is accepted and username is also accepted, I can go ahead and find out other options, which is public inbound ports. If you want to allow some ports to access this virtual machine or to allow to this virtual machine, you can enable it from here. That these are few default ports that are being given or provided by Azure. So it is HTTP, that is port 80, HTTPS 443, SSH if you have a Linux machine, and RDP if you have a Windows machine to do the remote desktop connection. Now I'm selecting this one because it's a Windows machine and it will allow me to access this machine using this port 3389. Now if you already have a license which you have used in your local premises, you can anytime use that and save your 49% of cost by using that license. If you don't have that license, of course you can select no and continue with the rest. So I'll click on next, and now here I have to select which type of disk I want to use. So here by default it suggests you should use premium SSD, which is very costly. Instead I'll go for a standard SSD or a standard HDD. Because standard HDD will cost me very less as I'm using it for demo purpose. Then there is an encryption type. You can use the encryption type if you want. By default it's selected as encryption at rest with platform managed key. Okay, now everything is done, but here I can't see the data disk, right? If you want to add the additional data disk, you can anytime create it from here, or you can attach if you have the existing disk, else you can skip it for now and let's see how we can attach it later. Let's click on next. In the networking tab, you have to select the subnet. It's a new public IP which is being generated, and subnet is also newly generated because we don't have any network or subnet. If you want to change this network, clicking here, you first have to create a virtual network. So first just do IT dash vnet. So vnet I will write in caps. This is how I prefer to give the name. Okay, so this is my virtual network that's called as vnet, and now I have to select the address spaces. Address spaces section, if you are not clear, you can go to my networking section video and you can find out how you can give the address spaces and how you can use it for subnetting purpose. So this is the address space that currently is selected by default. I can give it my preference name like 192.168.0.0 and it will accept it. I can even update the network bit as per my convenience, but for now I'll just go with the original default IP address. This is a default subnet which is created. If you want to create one more subnet, you can change this network bit from 24 to 25 and you can use one more time to provide it to another subnet. So this is a new subnet that I have created, subnet 1. So see, first subnet is having only 128 IP addresses, which is from 0 to 127. Then from 128 to further 255 I have a separate range of IP address. So this is how two subnets have been divided. While creating the virtual machine also you can change this, modify these settings, but I'll delete it for now and I'll keep it as default as it was, and I'll go ahead and continue with the next sections, which is network security group. It's a basic for now as default selected, and you can change the inbound port from here as well if you want. And then we'll go for a management section. In management section, the more important thing is that auto shutdown enable. If you want to enable auto shutdown, you can set the time when you want machine to be shut down automatically, and that would be beneficial for you to save your money. And then if you want to enable the backup for this virtual machine, you can enable it from here. So this is how you can update a management section. Then we will go for next, that is advanced section. You can even choose it from here. Here if you want to update any extension, you can add that extension, or customize any data, you can do that from here. Let's continue with the tagging. If tag which is already there, I have created it while creating a storage account. So this is a second resource. I'll name the value as second resource. Resources that are being here is this much, which are being created at the backend. Now I'll hit on next and review all the settings. So this will validate all the settings that we have provided and show you estimated cost per hour. I'll show you how you can save the cost even after creating the instance to save your money. So once this validation is passed, you can of course go ahead and click on create. Now I will fast forward it and come back once the deployment is succeeded. Okay, so I see the notification that the deployment is completed as it says, and also I can see on this page your deployment is completed. Let me elaborate what all deployment has happened behind the scene. So there is a network resource. Okay, I will expand this and show you. There is a network security group which is created, then the public IP, then a virtual network and a virtual interface, that is NIC, and a virtual machine is created. So this all the deployments has happened at the backend while creating a virtual machine. So if you want to go to the resource directly, here is the tab you can select to go to the resource. So once you are at the resource, you will see this overview page first. So in this overview page, there are few essentials that you have already provided while creating a virtual machine. So it says the virtual machine is running currently. It says the location, the subscription, and further details that operating system is Windows, then size is this much, and this is my public IP. So public IP will be regenerated when you shut down and restart the virtual machine from here from the portal. If you do the shutdown from the virtual machine inside the virtual machine, that would not be a hard shutdown, it will be a soft shutdown. So it's not going to generate a new IP, it's going to keep the IP same. Okay, if you want to make this IP static, you can go inside the IP and make it a static from the dynamic. By default it is set to dynamic, but I can change to static. Static will cost me more. Now as this all the configurations has been done, let me go ahead and directly try to connect this particular virtual machine. I will just copy my public IP address and I will open up an RDP, remote desktop connection, in your Windows machine. This is a separate tool which I have installed in my Mac machine. I will click on add. I will have to name this PC. I will name it the same IP address, and user account I don't want to save. When I will require, it will ask me. And then user friendly name I have to give. It's optional, but you can give it the same name as IP address. This is how you can fill in the information over here and click on add. So it will add this virtual machine here. Now you just double click here and type in the username that you have provided, admin, right, and then the password, right. Let me continue. I hope it will not take much time. So now I am able to access this virtual machine from my Mac operating system. So in my Mac operating system also I can access a Windows virtual machine which is hosted on Azure Cloud. So this is for the first time when this machine is launched. So now whatever operations I want to do in this machine, I can do that, and I can show you what is the configuration of this machine. And clicking here, computer properties, and this is all the configuration that we have for this machine. So 8 GB RAM is there. You can even enhance this after creating a virtual machine, and Windows 2016 package is installed. So this is how you can create a virtual machine and access it. That's all for this time. In the next lecture we are going to explore the virtual machine and other options that we can modify even after creating a virtual machine. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope this video was very informative for you, and see you in the next lecture. Goodbye.